Welcome to Hood Politics. In this episode, I will be discussing the case of Armand Jones. The facts of the case are as follows. On the night of March 16, 2006, Dwayne Washington, Giovanni Boyd, Brent Hurd, and Armand Jones were out for a night on the town. Jones was an aspiring rapper and promising actor who at the time had just landed a major role in the movie Freedom Writers. Freedom Writers was a film based on a true story about a racially divided high school in Long Beach, California, and how an English teacher went above and beyond to save her students from the pitfalls of the streets. Jones played a student named Grant Rice in the film. The movie had just wrapped filming, and Jones and his friends went out to celebrate. The group was nicely dressed and draped in jewelry as they traveled to the Boogie nightclub in Anaheim, California. After the club closed, Washington, Boyd, Hurd, and Jones went to a nearby Denny's restaurant where they met up with a man named Ronell Spencer and some women that they had just met. As the group of about 10 sat down to eat, Washington and Boyd got up to use the restroom. As the two men were in the restroom, a group of men and one woman walked in. They asked Washington, "Where you from?" and then demanded all his stuff. When Washington hesitated, one of the men pulled out a black revolver and pointed it at his face. He told Washington, "Give me all your stuff, and if you go outside and say anything, I'll blow your fucking head off." The gunman then snatched a gold chain from Washington's neck. The group went through Washington's pockets and took his cell phone and his shoes. Washington didn't look at the gunman's face, but noticed he was dressed in all black and wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates hat. The group approached Boyd and took his gold chain and his shoes. Jones noticed the two men were taking a long time to return from the restroom, so he decided to go see what the holdup was. As Jones entered the restroom, he came face to face with one of the robbers. The man demanded Jones's gold chain. Jones said no. The man then snatched the chain from Jones's neck and the two began to fight. The group of robbers ran out of the restroom. As the robbers fled, one of them pushed Jones to the ground. Hurd got up from the table and rushed to help Jones to his feet. Jones and Hurd chased the group outside and a hell of bullets rang out. Spencer saw Jones and Hurd running out of the restaurant and followed them outside. As he was running towards the door, he saw a gun laying on the floor of the restaurant. He picked it up and continued to run outside. Once outside, Spencer exchanged gunfire with the robbers as he ran for cover. He fired 9 shots and emptied the gun before seeking shelter behind a car. As Spencer hid behind the car, one of the robbers approached him and shot him in the head, but Spencer survived. Once the shooting stopped, Jones stumbled back into the restaurant holding his chest and asking for help. Jones collapsed on the floor and died from a gunshot wound to the chest. A .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol was recovered from the scene, which Spencer admitted to using. A 9mm pistol used in the shooting was later recovered during an unrelated investigation. Ballistics indicated 4 guns were used during the shooting: 2 9mm handguns, a .357 revolver, and a second .357 or .38 caliber revolver. Jones was killed with a .357 or .38 caliber pistol. The following day, an Anaheim police officer named Eddie Gomez retrieved surveillance footage from the parking lot of the Boogie nightclub. An Anaheim detective named Kerry Condon reviewed the footage and recognized some of the suspected robbers as Yolanda Brown and Nicholas Valerio from the Rolling 20s, which is a Crip gang on the east side of Long Beach. In May 2010, Condon interviewed a Rolling 20 Crip named Stanley Simon. At first, Simon denied knowing anything. After Condon told him he had witness statements, photographs, and videotape proving his involvement, Simon admitted to being at the Boogie nightclub and going to the Denny's restaurant and using the restroom, but he denied any participation in the robbery or the shooting. Another Rolling 20 Crip named Damon Hill was also interviewed. Hill was a convicted felon and facing life without the possibility of parole. Although Hill wasn't officially promised any leniency in the case, he chose to testify in exchange for potential consideration. Hill claimed he decided to testify against Simon and the others involved because he felt it was the right thing to do. Hill testified that he was a Rolling 20 Crip and that he went by the nickname Hillside. He also identified the other Rolling 20s members and associates involved as Jarrell Kelly, also known as Chocolate, Yolanda Brown, also known as Yaya, Nicholas Valerio, Dwight Say, also known as Tall, Calvin Thomas, Charles Reynolds, also known as Banks, and Stanley Simon, also known as Sticky Stan. Hill testified that on the night of March 16th, The group and several others caravaned from Long Beach to Boogie's. After Boogie's closed, the group decided to go to the Denny's restaurant. Hill said that when he walked inside of the restroom, he saw Simon, Brown, Kelly, and Reynolds had one guy surrounded, and Valerio and Thomas had the other man pinned in a stall. Hill said Reynolds had a .357 caliber pistol, Simon had a revolver, and Kelly had a 9mm handgun. Hill knew the group was robbing the two men and decided to join in. The group was leaving the restroom at the same time Jones entered the restroom. Reynolds bumped into Jones, and Jones asked, "What's going on?" Reynolds replied, "Give me your chain." Jones said, "Hell no." Reynolds snatched the chain, and Jones and Reynolds began to fight. The group of robbers rushed out of the restroom, knocking Jones down in the process. Once they got out of the restaurant, Hill said he saw Spencer waving a gun saying, "Y'all robbed my homeboys?" and then heard a hell of gunshots and ducked down behind the car. Hill testified that he saw Reynolds shoot Jones. Hill then flagged down Valerio's Explorer and jumped inside. While in the vehicle, Hill saw Simon in the back seat with a gun on his lap and heard him say, "I domed that nigga," in reference to shooting Spencer in the head. A man named Jeremiah Rodriguez agreed to testify against Simon in exchange for a reduced term on an unrelated crime. Rodriguez claimed to have met Simon while they were both in jail, and the two became friendly. Simon reportedly told Rodriguez all about the robbery and the shooting, and his story matched Hill's story with a few exceptions. Simon said that Hill and Kelly planned the robbery, and Hill even bragged about getting Jones's gold chain. Simon went on to say that Reynolds and Brown also got gold chains from the robbery. Rodriguez also testified that Simon told him that he shot Spencer in the head. A Long Beach detective named Sean McGee testified as the prosecution's gang expert. He explained that the robbery and the shootings were done to benefit the Rolling 20s Crips because the members acted as a group and shouted the gang's name during the robbery. He went on to say that their crimes would enhance their reputation within the gang. Simon testified on his own behalf. He admitted to being a Rolling 20 Crip member, and he had two nicknames, Boo and Sticky Stan. Simon admitted to being at the club and at the Denny's, but he denied being a part of the robbery and the shooting. He admitted to knowing Jeremiah Rodriguez, but denied telling him anything regarding the crimes. The prosecutor asked the jury to find Simon guilty of the first-degree murder of Jones under the felony murder rule. The felony murder rule basically states if someone is killed during the commission of a crime, the offender and the offender's accomplices or co-conspirators can all be found guilty of the murder. In this case, the group committed robbery, and the chain of events led to Jones's murder. So all parties involved can be found guilty of the murder, no matter if they actually fired the fatal shot or not. The jury agreed with the prosecutor and implemented the felony murder rule into the case. Ultimately, Stanley Simon, Yolanda Brown, Michael Reynolds, Jarrell Kelly, and Nicholas Valerio were all found guilty with the robberies of Washington and Boyd. They were all found guilty with the attempted murder of Ronell Spencer, and they were all found guilty with the murder of Armand Jones in accordance with the felony murder rule. They were all sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus between 20 and 25 years due to California's gang and gun enhancement laws. It's unclear if Dwight Say or Calvin Thomas were officially charged or sentenced in this case, and it's hard to find information on Damon Hill and what he was sentenced to in exchange for his testimony. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that Armand Jones was an aspiring rapper. He went by the name Prospect, and I want to end this video with one of his songs titled Life at Its Best. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Feel that, y'all. Yeah. This life is so cold. Sometimes I get lost. I don't know what to do, so I don't even think about it. I wonder what's my purpose for living, you know? Shit's fucked up sometimes, man. I got serious problems and they all mine. It's only a matter of time before I'm out of my mind. I ain't got shit, but I'm told to use what I was given. If you gonna die, then what's the purpose of living? I swear my whole life, they ain't cut no slack. fuck school, you couldn't pay me to go back. Rapping act my dream, I'll stick to that. No blunts, no crack, cause that ain't what I want. Already seen that and what it did to my aunt. She lost the kids and been in rehab nearly 6 months. Some days I don't wanna wake up when I go to sleep unless I gotta use the bathroom and get something to eat. Life's a bitch who will leave you when you least expect it. And when you're done, you can't move on to the next bitch. That's something I'll ever understand. It's unpleasant how something so long can end in 1 second.
One for the money.
Yeah. This life is cold.
One song I'm writing for you. One for the money. One song I'm writing for you.
Yeah. Life's a bitch that you can't control. She won't miss you every second, every minute that ticks is against you. Thou shalt not kill, but Bush is murdering the motherfuck out of people. Why is this shit legal? The thought of death just makes me sad. Why the dude have to smoke my dad when he already had half? Is a model to live by for you and I. It's not what you do when you die, it's what you do while you alive. Keep focused and notice the hate that creeps up. Cause when your time come, you can't do nothing but be tough. Life moves too fast and I can't keep up. I can't hold it inside cause it's eating me up. So it's hour after hour pass and the salt leak down to the bottom of the hourglass. Don't remember that I was sad, cause even though times is fucked up, I'ma look back and laugh. I look at life and death, they both my enemies. Cause when you die, you ain't shit but a damn memory. I ain't atheist, I believe in God for my sake. But how can you have faith in a world that's so damn fake? I wish I could have been aborted in '86. So when I die, my life would have been nothing for me to miss. I'm sick of being a cool guy and maintaining my cool. Stepping in bullshit and always changing my shoes. People look at gang banging like it's nothing nice. Maybe they wouldn't if they felt they had a purpose in life. They searching for the absent love that they ain't had. So they get it from the homies just to fill that gap. If you lost in the world, they say the Bible the map. I try reading it and I don't understand that crap. I say it all the time, but I don't think that they listen. I believe in God, but I don't know if I'm a Christian.